Chapter 21 The first batch of cultivators are born. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 5 years after Dali was established, he woke up again. The spiritual energy contained in Tianyuan realm was enough for some people to practice, and it was time to enter the era of cultivation. Then, he bestowed 999 spiritual roots, among them, 365 spiritual roots all had their owners, and the remaining spiritual roots were scattered all over Tianyuan realm. And those who were destined to get them would get them. At this time, Zhang Fulong, who was in retreat, suddenly woke up. He looked up at the sky, and he knew that the change of heaven and earth began from this moment. At the same time, Zhang Fulong also saw that a spiritual root fell into Xianxia village. Zhang Fulong called the Taoist boy and asked him to go down the mountain to Xianxia village, saying that he intended to take this child as a disciple and asked if the family was willing. If they were willing, when the child was 3 years old, Zhang Fulong would go down the mountain to take the child to Fulong Temple. If they were not willing, forget it, everything would be up to fate. Hearing that Zhang Fulong wanted to take a disciple, the family was very happy, and they were willing to send the child to the mountain immediately. The villagers of Xianxia village heard about it and celebrated for the child. In the past, Xianxia village lived by relying on the power of Fulong Temple. Now, they finally have a legitimate reason. How can they not be happy? No one knew about this change except Zhang Fulong at first. After a few years, someone found a clue, and people knew that the change of heaven and earth had begun. More than 10 years later, these people with spiritual roots embarked on the road of cultivation. For a time, the Tianyuan world set off a cultivation craze, and people's respect for Fulong Temple gradually decreased. In recent years, the old party of the Dogon royal family began to stir up trouble and had the idea of restoring the country. They have the largest number of cultivators, and they win with absolute suppression and succeed in restoring the country. After several collisions between the old forces and the new forces, the Dogon royal family knew that they were wrong, and the number of cultivators in the Dali royal family was not less than theirs. This confused the Dogon royal family and the families who were watching. What was going on? They were born with spiritual roots because of the legacy of their ancestors. The Dali royal family had so many cultivators for no reason. It was unreasonable. Did the immortal master Lin Tian deceive them at the beginning? Someone went to Fulong Temple to question Zhang Fulong. Zhang Fulong's answer was that if they didn't know how to be grateful, he wouldn't mind killing them. This was the cruelest thing Zhang Fulong had ever said. These people didn't dare to take risks. No one knew Zhang Fulong's true strength. Dali was powerful. After many attempts, many people gave up the idea of restoring the country. Because there were cultivators who founded their own sects, they began to recruit disciples to strengthen their sects and increase their own foundation. This was a struggle for power. Many new sects emerged in Tianyuan realm, all of which claimed to be immortal sects, and all of these sects claimed to be outside the jurisdiction and restrictions of the dynasty. Lu Xiu had no choice. First, he didn't have enough material and human resources to deal with these sections. Second, there were more difficult things waiting for him to deal with. He could only let these sects develop. What Zhang Fulong warned him about happened. It was not only humans who had spiritual roots, but also some animals who had spiritual roots. Now they have become spirits and monsters to harm humans. Fortunately, Lu Xiu had made arrangements in advance and established the monitoring department and the demon exterminating guard, so that he would not be in a hurry when something happened, and he would do his best to ensure the safety of people's livelihood. 20 years passed like this. In the past 20 years, the Dali dynasty has become more and more powerful and its position has been completely consolidated. For no other reason, the strength of the cultivators of the Dali dynasty beats the sects of the various sects of cultivation. The overall level of these sects of cultivation is from the first to the third level of qi refining, while the overall level of the Dali dynasty is from the second to the fifth level of qi refining, which is more than a little higher. The reason for this is that these sects of cultivation are all closed door and never ask about worldly affairs. On the contrary, the Dali dynasty is almost running all over the country, training in the world, and improving its strength quickly. Later, these sects of cultivation seemed to understand this truth and began to send people to the secular world to experience, helping Dali relieve a lot of pressure. Tianyuan realm has developed for another 100 years. In the past 100 years, the concentration of spiritual energy in Tianyuan realm has increased a lot, and many spiritual roots have been born one after another. Now, Tianyuan realm has truly entered the heyday of cultivation. Then again, the concentration of spiritual energy in Tianyuan realm is still scarce. Except for Zhang Fulong, the highest level of other cultivators in Tianyuan realm is only the 9th level of qi refining, and there are no more than 10 of them. The lifespan of qi refining cultivators is no more than 200 years. The first batch of cultivators who have lived to this day are at least 130 years old, and those with lower cultivation have passed away one after another. Some people began to be afraid that they would die soon due to insufficient lifespan, so, they turned their attention to Zhang Fulong of Fulong Temple. They knew that this master had already broken through the qi refining and reached the foundation establishment stage, and he was still alive and well after living for hundreds of years. If they could ask Zhang Fulong for a way to break through the foundation building, they could live several hundred more years. A foundation building cultivator can live up to 500 years. I wonder why you fellow Taoists came to my Fulong temple. That the person who greeted them was a disciple Zhang Fulong accepted in Xianxia village. His surname was Han, and his given name was Li. Han Li is now at the peak of the 9th level of qi refining, and he is only one step away from breaking through to the foundation building. We would like to see the temple master. Please inform me. Han Li was silent for a long time, and then responded, fellow Taoists, please wait a moment. After speaking, Han Li left the reception hall and walked to where Zhang Fulong was. When he saw Zhang Fulong, Han Li immediately said, Master, as you expected, they are here. This means that they seem to have guessed that these people would come to the door. It turned out that the master and the disciple were playing a double act. Hearing Han Li's words, Zhang Fulong nodded slightly and said, bring them to see me. Soon, these big men from the big sects met Zhang Fulong. I wonder why you all came to Fulong Temple to find me today. Zhang Fulong asked first. We have been at the peak of the 9th level of qi refining for decades. Now our lifespan is almost over. I hope the master of the temple will give us the method of building the foundation. We will definitely reward you handsomely. These people were not vague and directly stated their purpose in the future. Zhang Fulong was also silent for a moment, and then he said, you can see what level my disciple is now. Zhang Fulong pointed at Han Li. Everyone saw that it was very obvious. He was at the peak of the 9th level of qi refining, just like them. Why would Zhang Fulong ask such a question? They did not speak in reply, but were all thinking about what Zhang Fulong meant. Seeing that no one spoke, Zhang Fulong continued, I believe you can see clearly that my disciple is now at the peak of the 9th level of qi refining. Like you, he has wasted decades at this level and cannot go any further. In other words, if you want to break through qi refining and reach the foundation establishment, this is not something that can be solved by a few words from this poor Taoist. Otherwise, this poor Taoist disciple would have reached the foundation establishment long ago. Please think about it, isn't this the truth? Chapter 22 Upgrading the Zhoutian Star Array. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After listening to Zhang Fulong's words, everyone thought and felt that Zhang Fulong was right. If people could step into foundation establishment through guidance, Han Li would have already entered foundation establishment, and he would not be stuck at the 9th level of qi refining like them. Peak. I dare to ask the temple master, why is this? Back then, our ancestor Lin Tian established the Zhoutian star formation, and only then did spiritual energy come into being in the world. Now you are stuck at the peak of the 9th level of qi refining and have been unable to break through. To put it bluntly, the world's spiritual energy is not enough to support someone to break through to the foundation. Therefore, there is nothing I can do about your problems. Zhang Fulong explained the reason clearly to them. Everyone's heart sank. Is there really no other way? They are not willing to accept it. They have finally obtained immortality and enjoyed it for hundreds of years. They are really unwilling to wait for death like this. Guanzhu, is there really no other way? That some people still want to fight for the last hope. Not entirely. Zhang Fulong replied. These 4 words alone made their eyes light up, as if they saw hope again. Someone asked hurriedly, please explain, please. Upgrade the Zhoutian star formation to speed up the conversion of spiritual energy. This is the answer given by Zhang Fulong. I dare to ask the temple master, what are the requirements for upgrading the Zhoutian star formation, and how long will it take for us to be able to break through and build the foundation? Someone asked. If the price is high, they can accept it with gritted teeth, they couldn't afford to wait. If it took hundreds of years, they would have turned into a handful of lus and things would be meaningless. They want to live in the present and don't want to make wedding clothes for future generations. Replace the original 365 generals with 365 chi refiners, and add some materials to consolidate the formation. The efficiency of the Zhoutian star dough formation will be greatly improved. In less than 20 years, you will definitely be able to break through. To build the foundation. As soon as Zhang Fulong said these words, everyone took a breath of cold air. Currently, there are only 3,000 to 5,000 cultivators in the Tianyuan world. Every cultivator is a supreme being. If 1/10 of them are to be removed, who would be willing to do so? No one is willing to give up their own disciples, and one less cultivator will greatly reduce the sect's influence. However, if they are unwilling to give up, they will not be able to go further, and in a few decades they will become a handful of lus and be trampled on the ground. Master Guan, is there no other way? That they still want to fight for it. Maybe Zhang Fulong has other ways. Other than that, I have no other choice. Zhang Fulong shook his head. This was the only way he knew. It was up to them to decide whether they wanted to give it a try or not. Everyone looked at each other, and no one continued to speak. They didn't know if Zhang Fulong was deceiving them. They were silent, and Zhang Fulong was also speechless, and was ready to see off the guests, as if he was telling them that whether he did it or not had nothing to do with him. He had already broken through to the foundation building, and he could outlive them no matter what, just so confident. After a long time, someone finally spoke. Master Guan, can you let me wait to discuss this matter before making a decision? Of course. Disciple, see you off. Zhang Fulong asked them to go back and think about it, and then tell him when they had thought about it. Compared to them, he had more time. Wait until everyone disperses. Master, do you think they will believe it? Hanli asked. They were unable to break through the foundation. It was indeed because the spiritual energy of heaven and earth was not enough to support them. Zhang Fulong didn't lie to them. One thing Zhang Fulong didn't tell them was that it was impossible to break through the foundation building normally, but they could break through with the help of external forces, for example, alchemy. You can use some heavenly materials and earthly treasures to fuse with spiritual energy to refine it into a foundation building pill that contains spiritual energy. After taking it, you can greatly increase your breakthrough rate. This is the most appropriate method at the moment. Zhang Fulong had a way to make Hanli break through the foundation building, and Hanli also knew this. The reason why Hanli has not made a breakthrough is because he is waiting for today, waiting for these people to take the bait. So what if they don't believe it? They have no choice. Zhang Fulong said, the longer people live, the more they cherish their lives, especially these old immortals. If they know there is a glimmer of life, they will definitely try their best to fight for it. Zhang Fulong pinched their lifeline to death. As expected, it didn't take long for these people to respond, and they agreed to upgrade the Zhoutian Xingdou formation. All preparations are in place. Before leaving, Zhang Fulong chatted with Hanli again. Disciple, Fulong Temple will be left to you from now on. Zhang Fulong told him that after the Zhoutian Xingdou formation is upgraded, he will also turn into an formation eye, just like Lin Tian did back then, so that the Zhoutian Xingdou formation can operate stably. Disciple knows. Hanli nodded seriously. He knew Zhang Fulong's plan. After Zhang Fulong leaves, he will be the next master of Fulong Temple. Zhoutian Xingdou Grand Array was successfully upgraded, and the spiritual energy conversion speed was 10 times faster than before. He noticed it too. After Zhang Fulong transformed into a formation eye, the spiritual energy that originally belonged to Lin Tian broke away. He temporarily sealed this ray of spiritual energy, and then reincarnated him into a human when the opportunity was right. After the upgrade of Zhoutian Xingdou formation was completed, a cloud tribulation appeared over Pingding Mountain, which was exactly the same as when Zhang Fulong overcame the tribulation. These cultivation sects knew that it was Han Li who wanted to break through the foundation building. Now it was absolutely certain that they had been deceived by Zhang Fulong, and there was not only one way to break through the foundation building. however, on the other hand, they could feel that the spiritual energy of heaven and earth was increasing faster than before, so Zhang Fulong did not lie to them. What a contradiction. They did not understand why Zhang Fulong did this. And finally he got himself involved. After all the thunder, tribulations were past, Hanli successfully advanced to the foundation building stage. I am Hanli from Fulong Temple. Today I have broken through to the foundation building stage. Half a year later, I will give a lecture in Fulong Temple to explain the foundation building method. All living beings in the world can come to listen. Han Li's word spread all over the world. Hearing that Han Li was going to explain the foundation building method in public, all living beings in the world were shocked. Foundation building is the realm they pursue. What puzzled everyone was what Han Li meant by the world's living beings. Could it be that it also included the monsters who had become spirits? If this was true, things would become complicated. Monsters were fierce before they became spirits, and they were even more brave after they became spirits. A monster at the first level of Qi refining needed a person at the second level of Qi refining or 3 people at the first level of Qi refining to deal with it. If the monster learns the foundation building method, it will be more difficult to deal with it. Is Han Li doing this to stand against the human race? The Emperor of Dali also sent an envoy to ask Han Li what he meant. The Emperor of Dali is no longer Lu Xiu. Lu Xiu had no spiritual roots and could not practice. He died a few years ago and succeeded to the throne by his legitimate son. This legitimate son also had no spiritual roots and was an ordinary person. Many people were puzzled by Lu Xiu's decision. There were many princes without spiritual roots. Why did Lu Xiu choose a legitimate son without spiritual roots as his heir? Chapter 23 Tianyuan Real-Time Data. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Han Li only gave one response to the question of the Emperor of Dali. What I did was in accordance with the principle of the operation of heaven and earth. Changbai Mountain, a beautiful and continuous mountain range. Deep in the mountain range, there is a mountain king and a deer antler. The 2 animals are talking. Mountain King, Han Li, the Taoist priest of Fulong Temple, is giving a lecture on the method of building the foundation. Do you want to go? Deer Antler asked. They are both creatures with spiritual roots born in Changbai Mountain, and there are only 2 in Changbai Mountain. Mountain King is actually a white tiger. After practicing for so many years, Mountain King has reached the peak of the 9th level of Qi refining very early, and is only 1 step away from building the foundation. Deer Antler's qualifications are worse, only the 7th level of Qi refining, and there is still a long way to go from the 9th level. Of course I have to go. If I don't come back this time, Changshanbai will be entrusted to you. Mountain King explained that it had stayed at the peak of the 9th level of Qi refining for a long time and needed to find a way to break through the foundation. Now there is such a good opportunity, it can't miss it. Han Li said that all living creatures in the world could go to listen to the teachings. With the reputation and style of Fulong Temple, they should not go back on their words and hurt them. Half a year later, a strange scene appeared in Pingdingshan. In addition to humans, there were also monsters of various shapes and colors who came to listen to the teachings. These monsters could speak human language, but could not transform into human form. Don't associate with beasts. Some people couldn't stand being together with these monsters and began to divide their camps. Humans, monsters, and a few neutral factions. After they were ready, Han Li appeared and began to explain the method of building the foundation to everyone. It lasted for 3 days before Han Li finished talking about his insights. After the sermon, many people were flushed and smiled. It can be seen that they must have gained a lot. After returning, they will retreat and comprehend again, and they will definitely make great progress. Only this group of monsters were dejected and their eyes were dull. Han Li's method is useful for humans, but not for them. May I ask the master, is there a method suitable for my demon clan to build a foundation? A white tiger stepped forward and asked. It was the Mountain King of Changbai Mountain. Hearing the white tiger's question, Han Li thought for a moment and said, there are some differences in the structure of humans and demons. I don't know the method suitable for your demon clan to build a foundation. However, the Taoism is the same, and exploring in this direction must have results. Thank you for your advice, master. The white tiger knelt on his front legs and bowed his head to the ground 3 times to express his gratitude to Han Li. This time, the listening to the sermon was not very useful, but it was also rewarding. I understood some problems and would take fewer detours. It doesn't matter. I still want to remind you that killing less will hinder the path of cultivation. Yes, follow what the master said. The white tiger bowed again. After that, Han Li announced the end of this sermon and asked everyone to leave. 5 years after Han Li's sermon, an ancestor of the Tianqing sect and an ancestor of the Dali royal family broke through to the foundation building stage. 10 years later, more people broke through to the foundation building stage. Refining qi is just the threshold of cultivation. Only when you build your foundation can you really enter the stage of cultivation, and you can absorb spiritual energy to achieve real fasting. He roughly assessed the situation of Tianyuan realm. Tianyuan realm can currently have at most 1 golden elixir, 99 foundation building, and 100,000 refining qi. Tianyuan realm cannot bear more. This tolerance is not because of insufficient spiritual energy, but because Tianyuan realm is small and needs to be expanded. Once this limit is exceeded, Tianyuan realm may collapse. Now, the real-time data of Tianyuan realm is as follows. In the golden elixir stage, no living creatures have reached it. There are 8 foundation building stages. The highest level is Han Li, the middle stage of foundation building, and the rest are the early stage of foundation building. After foundation building, it is different from refining qi, and it is divided into 4 small realms: early stage, middle stage, late stage, and perfect, peak. There are more than 20,000 names in the refining qi stage. The next step is to improve Tianyuan realm, not just by transforming spiritual energy, but also by expanding the area of Tianyuan realm. He looked at Han Li and Fulong Temple. This matter needed Han Li to help him complete. Before that, Han Li needed to break through to the Jindan stage. The foundation building can be called a hegemon in the Tianyuan realm, but it is still weak outside the domain. Only when you reach the Jindan stage can you defend against the turbulence of the void. This time he will control it personally. He mobilized all the spiritual energy in the Tianyuan realm to the Fulong Temple, or to be more precise, to Han Li. Feeling the spiritual energy around him throbbing and extremely thick, Han Li frowned and woke up from the abnormal movement. What's going on? Han Li began to communicate with the Heavenly Dao to see if the Heavenly Dao would give him a hint. After some communication, Han Li finally understood the reason for the matter. After knowing the whole story, Han Li felt a sense of pressure. At this time, other practitioners in the Tianyuan realm felt that the spiritual energy in the world was not active, as if it was about to dry up. It was extremely difficult to practice and there would be no progress. 10 years later, Han Li broke through the late stage of foundation building. 20 years later, Han Li broke through the foundation building. After another 50 years of precipitation, Han Li began to impact the golden elixir. I am Fulongwen Han Li, and I will impact the golden elixir realm in the near future. Those who are destined can come and watch. Han Li's word spread all over the world, and it caused an uproar for a while. During these 80 years, the entire world's cultivators had a very difficult time. Their cultivation had not improved at all, and there were very few babies born with spiritual roots. They didn't understand why this was happening. Could it be that they were going back to the end of the law era? If this was true, it would be a big blow to them. They had never risen before, and suddenly fell to the bottom again. No one could accept it. I thought everyone was like this, but suddenly someone showed up and left them far behind. How could it not be surprising? Why did Han Li break through and cultivate so fast? What was the problem? They must go to see Han Li's breakthrough, and they also have questions to ask Han Li. In addition, they also know that the realm above the foundation building is the golden elixir. On this day, there was a strong wind on the flat top mountain, and the cloud tribulation was rolling. Looking from afar, the feeling alone made people palpitate. Is this the thunder tribulation of breaking through to the golden elixir? It is so terrifying, much stronger than the thunder tribulation during the foundation building. Boom, after brewing for a while, a lightning bolt struck from the cloud tribulation, with a great momentum. Facing the first thunder tribulation, Han Li easily dealt with it. Then, the second, the third, each thunder tribulation was more powerful than the last, until the 9th thunder tribulation. Why hasn't the cloud tribulation dissipated after 9 thunder tribulations? Has the tribulation not been completed yet? Some people wondered. There were only 9 tribulations during the foundation building. Could it be that the golden elixir would increase? But think about it, the thunder tribulations experienced at different realms must be different. After 9 thunder tribulations, Master Hanli was not injured. Even if there is another round, he can easily deal with it. Everyone saw that Hanli was in good condition, he only consumed some spiritual energy, and there was no damage on his body. Even if the next thunder tribulation was more powerful than the previous one, Hanli would be 100% successful in tribulation, almost everyone thought so. Chapter 24 Achieving the First Class Golden Elixir. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Boom, the second round of 9-fold thunder tribulation, the third round of 9-fold thunder tribulation, until the 8th round of 9-fold thunder tribulation, the cloud tribulation had not dissipated, which meant that Hanli had not yet completed the tribulation, and there was still thunder tribulation. All the monks watching were shocked. What realm is the golden core? Only Hanli could go through such a terrifying tribulation. If it were any of them, they would have been struck to death long ago. Hanli's condition was not very good at the moment, his hair was disheveled, and his spiritual energy was almost exhausted. If there was another thunder tribulation, Hanli might fail to pass the tribulation and fall under the cloud tribulation. Boom, a new round of thunder tribulation, that is, the 9th round of thunder tribulation, began. Thunder and lightning struck Hanli fiercely. At this critical moment, Hanli took out something from his body and threw it into his mouth. A closer look revealed that it was a pill. This was the soul-recovering pill refined by Hanli. Eating one pill could instantly restore the spiritual energy of a foundation-building monk. For cultivators, this elixir is extremely precious. It can kill with a little blood at a critical moment. It is a must-have medicine for saving lives. Unfortunately, the materials used for this elixir are extremely scarce, and Hanli has only refined one. It is also this one that has saved Hanli's life now. Although the 9th round of thunder tribulation is terrifying, Hanli has made up his spiritual energy and survived it. 9 rounds of thunder tribulation, a total of 81. After 99 and 81 thunder tribulations, the clouds no longer fell thunder tribulations, and a rosy glow shone on Hanli. Bathed in the rosy glow, the spiritual energy was replenished, and Hanli's injuries recovered as before. Immediately afterwards, a golden egg was derived from Hanli's dantian, and there were 9 patterns on the golden egg. A majestic momentum burst out, suppressing everyone who was watching. This is the strength of the Jindan period, and it is a first-grade Jindan, which is many times stronger than the foundation-building stage. In front of the Jindan strongman, a small foundation-building cultivator can be destroyed with a snap of a finger. I have achieved the first-grade golden elixir today. Cultivators above the 9th level of Qi refining can enter the temple for communication. Hanli removed the pressure and allowed cultivators above the 9th level of Qi refining to enter Fulong Temple for communication. There are too many cultivators below the 9th level of Qi refining, and Fulong Temple cannot accommodate so many people. There are too few people in the foundation building stage, so they can only compromise. There are about hundreds of people in the 9th level of Qi refining and foundation building. Fulong Temple can accommodate this number of people. May I ask the master of the temple, what is the first-grade golden elixir? A foundation building cultivator asked. The pressure just now was too great, and Hanli alone suppressed all of them and made them breathless. After building the foundation, a golden elixir can be formed in the dantian. This state is called the golden elixir stage. The golden elixir is divided into 1 to 9 grades, with the first grade being the highest and the 9th grade being the lowest. The different qualities of the golden elixir have different foundations. The higher the quality of the golden elixir, in addition to the higher combat power, the more solid the foundation and the further you can go on the road of cultivation. However, correspondingly, the power of the heavenly tribulation will be greater and more powerful. My life is hanging by a thread when I can achieve the first grade of golden elixir. When you reach this state, I hope you will choose carefully. Hanli explained the secret of the golden elixir to everyone. In the golden elixir stage, you can live for 2,000 years. After Hanli explained their doubts, everyone understood and knew why Hanli attracted so many thunder tribulations. The higher the quality, the better, provided that you have the life to bear it. If it were one of them, they would not fight so hard. Master, I have something to ask you. Why has the spiritual energy become scarce in the past few decades, and we have made no progress in cultivation? Do you know the reason? That another person asked. Hanli certainly wouldn't tell them that it was because of himself. He just said, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth will soon return to normal. Fellow Taoists don't have to worry. In addition, I have a chance to help fellow Taoists or people under my tutelage practice quickly and advance to a higher realm. What do you think? This is the main reason why Hanli asked them to come in, when they heard that the spiritual energy of heaven and earth was about to recover. Everyone's hanging hearts finally let go. Hearing Hanli say that there was an opportunity for them, everyone couldn't help but be curious. Please explain in detail, Master. I want to open a passage to other worlds. Fellow Taoists can send people to the new world to look for opportunities. Hanli said it very obscurely. It was obviously to plunder resources from other worlds, but he said it was looking for opportunities. Everyone also heard what Hanli meant, but no one said it out loud. Plundering resources from other worlds for their own practice will definitely speed up the practice. Master, when will it start? You need to wait for me to explore it before you know. It won't take long. There is one more thing to make clear. The passage to other worlds is unstable and the number of people cannot be too large. You need to go back and make plans early and choose suitable people to go. I will inform you of the specific time and location after I find out. Thank you, Master. Everyone left, and Hanli was also ready to explore other worlds. Flying out of the Tianyuan realm, the turbulence in the void outside the world was very large, and Hanli, who had the cultivation of the Jindan stage, had difficulty resisting it. Fortunately, he gave Hanli the power of the Heavenly Dao, so that Hanli could walk safely in the void. Hanli searched in the void for several years before he found a new world. This new world is called Xuanhuan realm. Its area is almost the same as that of Tianyuan realm, and its strength is about the same as that of Tianyuan realm 500 years ago. A trace of spiritual energy has just been produced in the world, and no one has yet embarked on the path of cultivation. Xuanhuan realm is the most suitable target for plunder at the moment. The only worry at the moment is whether the Heavenly Dao is born in Xuanhuan realm, or whether the Heavenly Dao in Xuanhuan realm awakens. If the Heavenly Dao is not born in Xuanhuan realm, or if it is not awakened, it is easy to annex him. If the Heavenly Dao is born in Xuanhuan realm and awakens, it will be a bit troublesome. Hanli does not want to give up, so he should try. Hanli began to sort out the coordinates of Xuanhuan realm. With his help, Hanli built a hole leading to Xuanhuan realm in the extreme north of Tianyuan realm. After 3 years, the passage was completed. Hanli also sent news to many sections. The first batch of personnel was also decided, with a total of 99 people. 99 people is the maximum limit that the hole can bear. After the first batch passed, it needs to be maintained again before it can be opened again. I want to remind you again that I don't know whether the consciousness of this world has awakened. You must remember to find out the situation first and do less killing. The teleportation array will be opened again in a year, and you can come back then. Hanli reminded again that under normal circumstances, the Heavenly Dao will not interfere with the operation of the world, unless there are visitors from outside the domain who cause a heavy blow to the world, in which case the Heavenly Dao will intervene. Of course, to know whether the Heavenly Dao of Xuanhuan realm has awakened, someone has to mess around. This is what Hanli hopes to see, but he still warned like this. Firstly, to put himself at the highest moral point. What these people do has nothing to do with him, Hanli. Secondly, it is too heavy to be involved in cause and effect. Thirdly, in order to prevent these sects from suffering heavy losses and pointing their spearheads at Xuanhuan, it can be said that Hanli put himself in an invincible position, and he is a complete old shady guy. Chapter 26 Yuanying. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The power of the law was replenished, and the creatures in the Tianyuan realm suddenly felt that their spirits were much clearer, and their cultivation became smoother. I finally understand. A white tiger suddenly roared in Changbai Mountain. This white tiger was the mountain king who went to Fulong Temple to listen to Hanli's preaching. 100 years ago, the mountain king was at the peak of the 9th level of qi refining. 100 years later, the mountain king was still at the peak of the 9th level of qi refining. It is too difficult for the demon race to break through the foundation building. Not only it, but also other members of the demon race. Until now, no member of the demon race has broken through to the foundation building, and all of them remain at the peak of the 9th level of qi refining. In the past, the demon race was the one that suppressed the human race. After all, the demon race was strong. At the same realm, the number of human race must be several times more than that of the demon race to win. Over the years, there have been more and more human cultivators who have built foundations, but there are no demons, which has led to the demon race members avoiding human cultivators. Fortunately, the lifespan of the demon race is higher than that of the human race. Take this mountain king for example. If it were a human, it would have turned into a handful of soil long ago after more than 100 years without a breakthrough. Xuanhuan, what do you understand? Seeing Xuanhuan roaring, its good friend Lurong asked hurriedly. 100 years later, Lurong has also reached the peak of the 9th level of qi refining, the same realm as Xuanhuan, but if they fight, Lurong will definitely not be able to beat Xuanhuan. In addition to the suppression in the food chain, there is also a gap in foundation. I found the method of building the foundation of the demon race. Xuanhuan replied excitedly. Really? Hearing this news, Lurong was also extremely happy. After 100 years, Xuanhuan finally realized it, and it waited until the flowers withered. Of course it's true, and this method of building the foundation is extremely powerful and can be passed on to the next generation. I call it bloodline foundation building. As long as the descendants can awaken the bloodline inheritance, they can quickly practice to the realm of their ancestors at that time. Xuanhuan shared with Lurong without hiding anything. In other words, if the mountain tiger is in the Jindan stage at this time, after it gives birth to a child, as long as the child awakens his blood inheritance, his child can quickly cultivate to the Jindan stage. Such a foundation building method is really terrifying. Lurong also took a breath after hearing this, and was so shocked that he could not speak. When does the mountain tiger plan to break through the foundation building stage? Soon, I will study it again to see what deficiencies this method has. 3 months later, a cloud disaster appeared over Changbai Mountain, which attracted many monsters to watch. Look, it's a foundation-building thunder disaster. Is someone breaking through the foundation there? Now, all creatures in the world have known how to distinguish which stage of thunder disaster it is. Hey, isn't this Changbai Mountain, the territory of that tiger? Could it be that it is going to break through to the foundation-building stage? Has it found a way to let the monsters build their foundation? The clever monsters found the problem. If this is true, it will be a huge milestone for the monsters. They hope this is true, otherwise, as the human race becomes stronger and stronger, the demon race will have no place to stay. As the cloud calamity appeared, a figure appeared in the sky. It was this white tiger. It's really it. Seeing this white tiger, the demons watching were full of joy. Xuanhuan really found the method of building the demon race's foundation, otherwise Xuanhuan would not have attracted the foundation-building thunder calamity. They all hope that Xuanhuan can safely survive the foundation-building thunder calamity. Compared with the human race, the demon race is extremely strong. Facing the thunder calamity, Xuanhuan took it all without pressure and successfully broke through to the foundation-building stage. It is also the first demon race in the Tianyuan realm to break through to the foundation-building stage. I broke through the foundation-building stage today. All demon cultivators can come to Changbai Mountain to teach me the method of building the foundation. Xuanhuan calls himself It has the qualifications. First, the tiger is the king of the mountain, and animals respect it. Second, Xuanhuan is the first demon race member to create a method of building the foundation and successfully break through to the foundation building stage. It calls itself which is completely worthy of it. We, the demon clan, thank our king. The demon clan members were overjoyed. Xuanhuan did not keep it for himself, and wanted to pass on its foundation-building method to them. For a time, Xuanhuan's status in the demon clan rose sharply. The demon clan had the foundation-building method of Xuanhuan. Not long after, the demon clan that had been stuck at the peak of the 9th level of qi refining for a long time broke through successfully. Now, the demon clan has the capital to fight against humans again. Currently, the real-time data of Tianyuan realm is as follows. Tianyuan realm has 2 domains, namely the sky domain and the earth domain. There is 1 person in the Jindan period, that is Hanli. The number of foundation building has reached 100, more than 10 times more than before. The number of qi refining cultivators has reached 100,000. In less than 1,000 years, it has crossed from the mortal kingdom to the cultivation era. Tianyuan realm has now taken shape and is developing steadily. Heavenly is not idle, and continues to look for other worlds outside the domain. This goes on day after day, year after year, and 300 years have passed. In 300 years, Heavenly only found 2 small planes. These 2 small planes were not born with the Heavenly Dao, so they were easily annexed. This time, he did not turn these 2 small planes into one domain, but integrated them into the heavenly domain. The reason is very simple. There is enough spiritual energy in the heavenly domain now, enough for millions of creatures to practice. The only problem is that with more and more cultivators, the area of the heavenly domain seems a bit small. It is also impossible to incorporate the earthly domain into the heavenly domain. The earthly domain has long been restored and is now suitable for practice. Although it is not as good as the heavenly domain, there is no problem in practicing to the foundation. By integrating the 2 small planes into the heaven realm, the area of the heaven realm has increased by half, alleviating the current situation of the heaven realm. Heavenly does not plan to continue searching for the world for the time being. First, it is too difficult to find, and second, the efficiency is too slow. In the past 300 years, with the favor of the Heavenly Dao, Heavenly's cultivation has reached the perfection of the golden core stage. Now, Heavenly plans to retreat to comprehend a new realm. Waiting to break through to a new realm before searching will greatly improve the efficiency. Heavenly retreated for 99 years to comprehend, and finally realized the realm above the golden core. Above the golden core is the nascent soul. As the name means, only after breaking through the Dan and becoming a nascent soul can one step from the golden core to the nascent soul. For the nascent soul, if the physical body is damaged, as long as the nascent soul is not destroyed, it can also take the opportunity to be reborn and enjoy a lifespan of 5,000 yuan. Of course, the nascent soul also has strengths and weaknesses, depending on the quality of the practitioner's golden core. The higher the quality of the golden core, the stronger the nascent soul. Similarly, the greater the power when crossing the tribulation. I am Heavenly from Fulong Temple. I will pass the tribulation in the North Sea in a year. Those who have established their foundation or above can go to the North Sea to watch. Heavenly's word spread throughout the heaven realm. This time, Heavenly did not choose to pass the tribulation on Pingding Mountain because the Yuanying thunder tribulation was too powerful and the aftermath would damage the surrounding things. He needed to find an open and uninhabited place to pass the tribulation. The North Sea is the best choice. It is a vast sea. Except for marine life, no living creatures will live there. At the same time, Heavenly also told all living creatures in the world that only cultivators who have established their foundation or above can watch this tribulation. The reason is that the aftermath of the tribulation is too large and cultivators below the foundation cannot bear it. Even if you are a cultivator who has established your foundation, you have to stay away from it. If you go below the foundation, you will die. Chapter 27 The Traveler. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Changbai Mountain. When Xuanhuan heard that Heavenly was going to pass the tribulation and break through again, he was filled with emotion. Heavenly had reached the Jindan stage hundreds of years ago, and now he was going to pass the tribulation, which was undoubtedly a realm above the Jindan stage. It was really God's favor to Fulong Temple. All along, every realm of cultivation was created by the current master of Fulong Temple. At the same time, God also favored the human race. Why did the human race cultivate so fast? While the demon race had not made any progress, 300 years ago, it created the method of building the foundation of the demon race's bloodline, which enabled the demon race to be revitalized and equalized its combat power with the human race. To this day, although the demon race has dozens of foundation-building demons, none of them can break through to the Jindan stage, and all are stuck at the perfect foundation-building stage. Xuanhuan has also been stuck at the perfect foundation-building stage for 100 years. However, as I said before, the demon race has a long lifespan, and Xuanhuan still has a lot of time to comprehend new realms. Today, Tianyuan realm can bear 9 Yuanying stage cultivators, 300 Jindan stage cultivators, and there is no limit on cultivators at the foundation building stage and below. With the current situation of Tianyuan realm, it is far from reaching his limit. 1 year later, North Sea. Before Heavenly arrived, many cultivators gathered here. Among them, some cheer-refining cultivators who were ignorant of the world and did not listen to the lectures also came here to watch. It's just a tribulation, and it's not like they haven't seen it before. Why don't you let the cheer-refining cultivators come to watch? Who are you looking down on? You don't let me watch it, but I want to watch it. Not only do I want to watch it, but I also want to go forward to watch it. Not long after, Hanli came and stood on the sea. At the same time, Hanli also noticed that there were cheerifying cultivators among the onlookers. Hanli just glanced and retracted his gaze. He didn't drive them away. He had already said it before. If someone wants to die, let him die. It's hard to persuade the damned ghost with kind words. He really thought that he was easy to talk to in Fulong Temple. The peak of the Jindan stage was in full force, and a cloud of tribulation appeared above Han Li's head. The power of the cloud of tribulation was greater than before. Just a glance at it made the onlookers tremble in their hearts. Quickly retreat further. Some people noticed something was wrong and felt that this thunder tribulation was unusual and might involve them, but it was too late. Boom, the thunder tribulation had already descended, and its power seemed to have the power to destroy the world. Han Li hurriedly resisted. After all, Han Li had the peak of the Jindan stage, and the first thunder tribulation did not cause him any harm, but it was different for others. The situation of the foundation building cultivators was better, and they were injured internally. Those below the foundation building stage were directly killed by the aftermath, the Yuanying thunder. Tribulation was so terrifying that the onlookers were frightened. Before the second thunder tribulation came, they hurriedly retreated again. The Yuanying thunder tribulation is the same as the foundation building thunder tribulation, with a total of 9, but each of the Yuanying thunder tribulation has the power to destroy the world. After the 9 thunder tribulations, Han Li was exhausted physically and mentally, but fortunately, he got through it again. The Jindan was broken and became the Yuanying, and Han Li successfully broke through to the Yuanying realm. At this time, looking down, there were piles of fish corpses floating on the sea. Fortunately, it was on the sea to pass the tribulation. If it was on land, the mountains would be razed to the ground. I have successfully broken through to the Yuanying. Thank you for your company, fellow Taoists. I will take my leave first. Han Li did not invite them to discuss Taoism at Fulong Temple this time. After passing the tribulation, Han Li left directly. Han Li did not preach to them this time, which made all living beings feel a sense of loss. Fortunately, they knew that the realm above the Jindan was the Yuanying, which was also a gain from this trip. In fact, Han Li did not discuss the Dao with them because none of them had the Jindan stage. The leap was too big. Not only could it not help them, but it would harm them. Therefore, Han Li chose to leave this time and did not ask them to go to Fulong Temple to listen to the Dao. There was a fault in the Tianyuan realm, and the reason should be related to the too fast development of the Tianyuan realm. The foundation of the Tianyuan realm is enough, but the overall strength is not up to standard, and it will take a long time to develop. After that, 100 years passed, and in addition to Han Li, there was finally a Jindan stage cultivator in the Tianyuan realm. He was a human, and the grade of the elixir was not high, only the 7th grade of Jindan. No matter from which aspect, he could not compare with Han Li. However, the focus is not on this. The real focus is that there are creatures that break through to the Jindan stage according to the world trajectory. In the near future, the number of Jindan stage cultivators will explode. Sure enough, as expected, every few decades, one person breaks through to the Jindan stage. 200 years later, the demon race also comprehended their own golden elixir method, and could also transform into human form. The demon race's combat power once again caught up with the human race. At this time, the data of Tianyuan realm is as follows. One person in the nascent soul stage. This person is undoubtedly Han Li. 13 people in the golden core stage, and the number of cultivators in the foundation establishment stage increased rapidly. Nearly 10,000 people. The number of cultivators in the Qi refining stage reached 1 million. The spiritual energy in the heavenly realm is very sufficient, enough for the Tianyuan realm to bear the upper limit of cultivation. The spiritual energy in the earthly realm is also relatively abundant, and there is no problem in cultivating to the golden core realm at present. He is very satisfied with this progress. However, something interesting happened. He discovered that an alien visitor had arrived in Tianyuan realm. This alien visitor was not an invader, nor an entity, but a soul body, just like him at the beginning, a bit like the soul in the novel plot. He did not take action against this soul body, allowing him to float freely. In the end, this soul body possessed a baby in the Tianqing sect. If this soul possesses the secular world, he will let Hanli, take it into the Fulong Temple. It's a pity that this person has no chance with Fulong Temple, Tianqing sect, let's just say Tianqing sect, they are all under his control anyway. In fact, he wanted to see if this time traveler had a so-called system. If there is a system, what exactly is this system? 12 years later, it was the Tianqing sect's annual apprenticeship ceremony again, and many boys and girls gathered in the Xuanhuan Square. Most of them are secular children, and a few are internal disciples of Tianqing sect. The reason why these boys and girls gathered here was to line up to test their spiritual roots. Over the years, various sects have thought up a way to check spiritual roots. You only need to make a spiritual power tablet, and then put your hand on it. If the spiritual power tablet can be touched, it proves that the person has spiritual roots and can become a cultivator. On the contrary, it means that there is no spiritual root and one cannot practice. It's not like before, it's like a blind cat meets a dead rat. You won't know until you can practice. Not only is it a waste of resources, but it's also a waste of time. 12 years old is the best time to check the spiritual roots, and this is also a conclusion reached after multiple tests and sample collection. No spiritual roots. Next one. The elder who was helping the children test their spiritual roots shook his head again. There are millions of monks in the Tianyuan world, but just looking at the numbers is a lot. However, it depends on the population of Tianyuan world. Tianyuan world currently has a population of more than 10 billion. Such a comparison shows that only 1 in 10,000 people can appear, which shows that people with spiritual roots are rare. Tianqing sect holds a disciple recruitment ceremony every year. There are tens of thousands of people tested, but in the end there are only a few people, just like the scene just now. Nearly 100 people were tested before, and no one had spiritual roots. To be honest, the test elders were exhausted, but there is no way, this job must be done. It also illustrates a problem from the side. Everyone with spiritual roots is a lucky person and a superior person. Chapter 28 Attributes Spiritual Root. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Next, Yixingchen is ready. The test elder continued to shout that he knew Yixingchen. Yixingchen is the direct grandson of the great elder of Tianqing sect, and he is usually the most loved by the great elder. However, there is a secret in Yixingchen's heart that no one knows. His soul does not belong to this world. After coming to this world, Yixingchen consulted many materials and historical records, and gained a certain understanding of the development process of Tianyuan world. Tianyuan world is a world of cultivation that only emerged 1,000 years ago, and its highest strength is only at the nascent soul stage, qi refining, foundation building, golden elixir, and yuanying. These realms of cultivation are similar to the fairy tales he had read in his previous life. That's right, Yixingchen's soul body is from Blue Star. Yixingchen put his hand on the spiritual power tablet. Within a few breaths, there was a reaction on the spiritual power tablet, which meant that Yixingchen had spiritual roots and could become a cultivator. The test elder's paralyzed face finally changed. He was worthy of being the great elder's grandson, and he also had spiritual roots. The test elder announced, Yixingchen has spiritual roots. As soon as these words came out, the surrounding crowd cast their eyes with envy and jealousy. It would be great if they were the ones with spiritual roots. Yixingchen's grandfather, Yichanghe, the great elder of Tianqing sect, got the news immediately. After learning that his grandson had spiritual roots, he put aside all his affairs and rushed to see Yixingchen. After meeting Yixingchen, Yichanghe praised Yixingchen fiercely and almost said that my grandson has the appearance of an emperor. Regarding this, Yixingchen could understand Yichanghe's mood. Descendants of cultivators may not necessarily have spiritual roots, but they are more likely to have spiritual roots. Yixingchen's father had no spiritual roots. If this kind of people want to stay in the sect, they have to do things for the sect. Yichanghe is the great elder of Tianqing sect, and Yixingchen's father is in a much better situation, doing light work on weekdays. If Yichanghe's descendants never have spiritual roots, after his death, his descendants will also be kicked out of the sect. This situation is not only true for Tianqing sect, but also for other sects and sects in Tianyuan realm. Cruel and ruthless. Chinner, Grandpa personally guides you on how to practice. Yichanghe was very concerned about Yixingchen, a single seedling. Yichanghe is now at the peak of foundation building, and he doesn't know if he will be able to break through to the golden elixir stage in his lifetime. If Yixingchen is stronger than him in the future and reaches the golden elixir stage, the Yi family will not have to worry for 1,000 years. Thank you, Grandpa. Yi Changhe taught him personally, so Yi Xingchen was naturally willing. Next, Yi Changhe started talking to Yi Xingchen from the basics. Yi Changhe spoke very carefully and slowly, for fear of missing something. After listening to Yi Changhe's teachings, Yi Xingchen had questions. Grandpa, is this how everyone practices? Yeah, what's the problem? Yi Changhe didn't understand why Yi Xingchen asked like this. All the monks had been practicing like this without any problems. Yi Xingchen shook his head and said, no problem, it's just that my grandson has a doubt in his mind. Does the spiritual root have survival of the fittest, attribute classification, etc.? Yi Xingchen's words made Yi Changhe thoughtful and a little surprised. This was the first time he had seen someone mention these issues, and this person was his grandson. No monk has ever delved into these questions. There should be survival of the fittest, otherwise under the same environment, some will practice quickly, some will practice slowly, some will be able to practice to the point of foundation building, and some will only be able to practice qi for the rest of their lives. As for the division of spiritual root attributes, this is unheard of. What is Qin'er thinking? Yi Changhe couldn't answer Yi Xingchen's questions, so since it was Yi Xingchen who asked them, he wanted to ask his opinion. There are some. Yi Xingchen thought of the cultivation novels he had read in his previous life, wondering if they had any effect. My grandson thinks this way. There are 5 elements in heaven and earth. Does the spiritual root also have the attributes of the 5 elements? Such as gold spiritual root, wood spiritual root, water spiritual root, fire spiritual root, and earth spiritual root, according to the attributes of the spiritual roots, whether the spiritual roots can achieve twice the result with half the effort if the spiritual roots are cultivated in the same attribute environment. Of course, a spiritual root may have more than one attribute, it may have 2 attributes, 3 attributes, or even 5 attributes, when there are more spiritual root attributes. Is there repulsion between the attributes, which leads to slower cultivation progress? Yi Xingchen shared his understanding and personal opinions with Yi Changhe. Yi Changhe took a breath after hearing this, his eyes full of shock. How did Yi Xingchen come up with these things? Could it be that his grandson really looked like an emperor? In Qin'er's opinion, how can we distinguish the attributes of spiritual roots? Yi Changhe asked. Now he seemed to be Yi Xingchen's student. Yi Xingchen thought of the role of the spiritual power monument, and suddenly had a realization, so he said. If the spiritual root has attributes, the aura must also have attributes. As long as you pay attention, you will definitely notice it. You can use the spiritual power tablet to improve it, and put 5 attributes of spiritual energy in the spiritual power tablet. When being tested, the spiritual power tablet triggers several attributes, which represents the attributes of the spiritual root. Okay. Yi Changhe called 3 times in a row. If this can be done, Yi Xingchen is expected to tie the Fulongwen man. Speaking of Fulong Temple, Yi Changhe felt very emotional. Everyone in the world aims at Fulong Temple and chases after it. I still need to report this matter to the sect leader. Yi Changhe said again, this matter is of great importance. He cannot do it alone. The whole sect needs to participate. Grandpa, please do as you please. Yi Xingchen did not stop him. Afterwards, Yi Changhe found the leader of Tianqing sect and told him Yi Xingchen's guess. Tianqing sect leader Meng Wudong is one of the great masters of the Jindan period, a 6th grade Jindan, and is in the middle. After listening to Yi Changhe's report, Meng Wudong was also shocked. If this is reliable, the strength of Tianqing sect will be qualitatively improved. Xingchen is the lucky star of our Tianqing sect. Meng Wudong praised Yi Xingchen fiercely. Yi Changhe did not feel embarrassed at all, but seemed to be enjoying it, as if to say, if you can praise, praise more. After that, Meng Wudong held a meeting of elders. After the elders learned about it, they unanimously agreed to this approach. Tianqing sect was preparing intensively, and after a few days, a simplified version of the attribute spiritual power monument was made. Who will try it? Meng Wudong asked. This is what my grandson proposed, so I should go first. Yi Changhe took the lead. Then let the elder go first. No one else objected. Anyway, the spiritual power monument is here, it's a matter of time, there's no need to rush. Yi Changhe put his hand on the spiritual power monument, and the spiritual power monument immediately responded, pulling out 2 spiritual powers of different attributes. This means that Xianxia has dual attribute spiritual roots, and they are dual spiritual roots of gold and wood. It really works. Elder, go to the wood attribute training room and try it out. The other elders hurriedly urged. During this period of time, they not only made attribute spiritual power monuments, but also prepared 5 different attribute training rooms for verification. Chapter 29 Never Been So Wonderful. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xianxia practiced in the wood attribute practice room for a while, and he felt that it was smoother to practice. As Xingchen guessed, the spiritual root and spiritual power have the same attribute, which is more conducive to practice. When Xianxia came out, all the elders gathered and asked, "Grand Elder, how is it?" "It has never been so wonderful." Xianxia was still not satisfied. If they were not waiting for him outside, Xianxia wanted to stay in seclusion inside and wait until the golden elixir came out. "It's my turn to come first this time. It should be me. Don't argue, I'll go first." Seeing that Xianxia had a lot of games, all the elders argued that if they didn't grab the first prize, they must grab the second prize. After some verification, it can be basically confirmed that Xingchen's guess is correct. "Master, should we keep it secret?" An elder asked. With the attribute spiritual power monument, knowing what attribute spiritual root you have, you can give targeted guidance and practice, and the road to practice will be much smoother. It can be said that this is a divine weapon. With it, many powerful people will appear in Tianqing sect. Meng Wudong couldn't make up his mind whether to keep it secret. If it is kept secret and used secretly by himself, the strength of Tianqing sect will increase rapidly, far surpassing other sections. For the sect, keeping secrets is the best. Although Meng Wudong is the leader of a sect, he is not a selfish person. What Meng Wudong admires most in his life are the generations of descendants of Fulong Temple. For the sake of the world, they don't know how much they have sacrificed, even their lives. Nowadays, the secular world does not worship Fulong Temple as much as before, but in the cultivation world, when the 3 words Fulong Temple are mentioned, no one dares to speak rashly. This matter was proposed by Xingchen, so let Xingchen decide on this matter. Meng Wudong did not make this decision. He gave the right to speak to Xingchen. Whether Xingchen keeps the secret in Tianqing sect or makes this method public, Meng Wudong respects Xingchen's choice. After thinking for a long time, Xingchen decided to make this method public. He wanted to be like those people in Fulong Temple. When Tianqing sect made the method of attribute spiritual roots public, the whole cultivation world suddenly exploded. Only then did they know that there were so many mysteries hidden in the spiritual roots, which was really incredible. Hanli of Fulong Temple also heard about this. Interesting, really interesting. Hanli was also full of emotion. Such a strange person appeared in the world. Like his master Zhang Fulong and immortal master Lin Tian, he had been pursuing the transformation of heaven and earth all his life and had never thought about this. With this method, the Tianyuan realm became strong, and the creatures in each realm would not have such a big difference. Suddenly, a Heavenly Dao index entered Han Li's sea of consciousness. Only then did Han Li understand who Xingchen was. "It's time to go to Tianqing sect." As soon as the words fell, Han Li disappeared in Fulong Temple and appeared in front of the mountain gate of Tianqing sect soon after. "I am Han Li from Fulong Temple. I am here to visit Tianqing sect today. Please go and inform them." Han Li introduced himself to the 2 gatekeepers of Tianqing sect. Tianqing sect is a big sect, and Han Li is a man of etiquette, so he naturally cannot force his way into the gate. Han Li from Fulong Temple. When the 2 gatekeepers heard these 5 words, they trembled all over, looking at Han Li's face carefully. Yes, it was Han Li himself. They were lucky to meet this big guy even when they were guarding the gate. "Hello, master." The 2 of them hurriedly bowed to Han Li. They did not dare to neglect it. One of them led Han Li slowly into Tianqing sect, and the other ran to report quickly. When Meng Wudong learned that Han Li came to Tianqing sect in person and had been led into the gate, Meng Wudong's heart was excited at this time. Meng Wudong called many elders to welcome Han Li together. "Master, your presence here brings honor to our Tianqing sect." Meng Wudong warmly welcomed Han Li's arrival. "Master Meng, you are too polite. I am sorry to bother you by coming here uninvited. Another set of polite words. After chatting for a while, Hanli told the purpose of his visit. I wonder if friend Xianxia is in the sect? Hanli asked. He called Xianxia friend, which shows that Hanli valued Xianxia. Yes, master, please wait here, I will call him. Meng Wudong responded. He had long guessed that Hanli came for Xianxia. Master Meng, there is no need to do this. It should be me who goes to see friend Xianxia. I need to ask friend Xianxia for some advice. In that case, master, please follow me. Meng Wudong led Hanli to Xianxia, speaking of which, Xianxia's spiritual root is a single attribute spiritual root of the gold system, and his cultivation talent is extremely strong. During this period of time, he successfully entered the qi refining stage, which is the first level of qi refining. Xianxia also met the master of Fulong Temple, who is admired by many cultivators in the Tianyuan realm. Can young friend Xianxia talk to me alone? Hanli asked. Some secret things are not convenient for outsiders to know. Xianxia nodded and agreed, and the two found a deserted place to communicate. Excuse me, where is young friend Xianxia from? Hanli asked deliberately. Seeing Hanli ask this, Xianxia was surprised and wondered how Hanli knew his origins. He had never told anyone this secret, however. Xianxia did not show any other expressions on his face, and replied calmly as always, reporting to the master, I was born in the Tianyuan sect, and the Tianyuan sect is my home. Xianxia answered without any questions. He was indeed born in the Tianyuan sect. This cannot be false, and it will be the same no matter who checks it. Hanli smiled and said, my little friend, there is no need to hide anything from Tiandao, and there is no need to be nervous. Tiandao did not have any malicious intent in this matter. You might as well tell me that the moment you came to Tianyuan World, heaven knew your origin. What? Xianxia's expression finally changed. He thought he was hiding well, but he didn't expect to be discovered as soon as he arrived in this world. Thinking about it, this is the world of cultivation. How could the world's heaven be weak? Even he, a time traveler, couldn't find it. From this point of view, Tiandao didn't care about him as a time traveler. It seems that the temple owner is aware of my origin, and I am not hiding it from the temple owner. I am not from the Tianyuan world. To be precise, my soul body does not belong to the Tianyuan world. At this point, there was nothing to hide in front of Hanli, so Xianxia generously told his origins. Tiandao has some questions, and I hope you can answer them. I would like to ask you, my friend, I know so much about spiritual roots. I wonder if the world where you were originally was a prosperous world of spiritual practice. Hanli asked. But Tiandao only told him the origin of Xianxia, and Tiandao did not give him any guidance on other matters. I saw Xianxia shook his head and said, the world I was in was not a world of cultivation. It was an era of Dharma ending, which is almost the same as the Tianyuan world 1,000 years ago. Chapter 30 Perfecting the System. You are listening at novelfull.audio. How so? Now it was Hanli's turn to be surprised. How could this be? If the world where Xianxia was originally from was not the world of cultivation, how could Xianxia know so much? Although it was hard to believe, Hanli did not doubt Xianxia's words. Xianxia can reveal the method of attribute spiritual roots to the world, which shows that Xianxia is a person of good character and has a heart that considers the world. Hanli stopped worrying about this question and continued to ask the next question. My little friend, do you know what realm is beyond nascent soul? Although Hanli had just broken through the nascent soul not long ago, it did not prevent him from understanding the realm of nascent soul and above. If there is a general direction, it will greatly shorten a lot of time when he reaches Yuanying consummation to comprehend the new realm. This. Xianxia didn't know what to say. Hanli also noticed it and asked, my little friend, do you have anything to hide? Xianxia shook his head. No, there are two versions of the realm that I am familiar with. The first version of the complete realm is the 10 realms of refining qi, bigu, foundation building, golden elixir, yuanying, out-of-body, distraction, integration, transcending tribulations, and Mahayana. Later, these realms were optimized, including 8 realms, qi refining, foundation building, golden pill, yuanying, transformation, returning to the void, Mahayana, and overcoming tribulation. This is the reason why it is difficult for me to answer the question asked by the viewer just now. 10 realms become 8 realms. After listening to Yixingqian's words, Hanli murmured to himself, there is a period of fasting between qi refining and foundation building, which is the key point. The monks broke through to the point where they could live a normal life without eating grains while building a foundation. To put it in more detail, after entering the qi refining period, monks become less dependent on grains. A monk on the first or second level of qi refining can go without food for 3 days without any problem, and he will still be active and active. A monk at the 5th or 6th level of qi refining can go without food for a month. A monk at the 9th level of qi refining can even go without eating for a year. When it comes to building the foundation, you can completely eliminate grains and fill them with spiritual energy. Otherwise, a monk would often be in seclusion for days, months, years, or hundreds of years, and would starve to death if he didn't die. Therefore, the inelegant period is just a transitional stage, and it is reasonable to remove it. It is also reasonable to evolve into the 2 realms of out-of-body, distraction, and integration into spirit transformation and return to virtual reality. The only thing that Hanli didn't understand was that both versions had tribulation, transcendence and Mahayana, but these 2 realms were opposite. In theory, this shouldn't happen. Hanli asked, my little friend, do you know why the last 2 realms are opposite? Yixingqian thought for a while and then said, I think it has something to do with ascending to the fairy world. Ascension to the immortal realm? Hanli was confused. Is there a fairyland in the world? He has been traversing the void for hundreds of years, but he has never heard or seen the existence of the fairy world. I'm not sure about the specifics. There is a saying that one can reach the Mahayana stage after experiencing 9 tribulations. After reaching the Mahayana stage, one can wait for the messenger from the upper realm to take him to the fairy world. After the Mahayana period is completed, after 9 heavenly tribulations, the passage to the upper world can be opened and directly ascend to the immortal world. Yixingqian told what he knew. Hanli caught the key point in Yixingqian's words, whether it is from transcending tribulations to Mahayana, or from Mahayana to transcending tribulations, in the end they will ascend to the immortal world, and this fairy world is the upper world. Hanli basically understood it, he just needed to confirm it again. My friend, are there any monks below the Mahayana stage in the immortal world? Of course there is. Yixingqian was very sure. Is the spiritual energy in the fairy world stronger than that in the lower world? That's for sure. Hanli asked several questions in succession, and finally got confirmation from Yixingqian. Now the Korean calendar is certain. The so-called immortal world means that spiritual energy is strong and conducive to cultivation. The upper world and the lower world are, to put it bluntly, the same world, but they are separated, somewhat similar to the heavens and regions of the Tianyuan world. As for overcoming the tribulation and ascending, it must be restricted by the rules set by heaven and earth. Whether it is from transcending tribulations to Mahayana, or from Mahayana to transcending tribulations, the 2 realms seem to be opposite, but in fact there is no change in essence. Hanli told Yixingqian his feelings. After hearing this, Yixingqian also felt that what Hanli said was reasonable and agreed with his words very much. To be honest with you, there is no upper realm in Tianyuan realm. However, we can create a fairyland. Hanli stated a bold idea to Yixingqian, which is what Xuanhuan has always done, build the Tianyuan world into a supreme existence. I wonder if my little friend would like to fight with me. Hanli finally asked again. It's my wish, but I dare not invite you. Yixingqian joined the Hanli camp, and the Tianqing sect got on the Xuanhuan ship, with Hanli and Yixingqian as the main ones, and the Tianqing sect as the supplement. They will study the spiritual roots in more detail and reshape and organize the qi refining to the Yuanying realm. After 30 years of improvement, the monks in the Tianyuan world have gained a deeper understanding of the practice. The monks who had been trapped for a long time broke through one after another, and even the demon clan also found a way to break through the golden elixir. Today, the overall strength of Tianyuan world has been greatly improved. The current real-time data of Tianyuan realm is as follows. 1 person in the nascent soul stage is Hanli, and Xuanhuan still stands proud among the others. The number of golden elixir stage reached 100, which increased tenfold in just 30 years. There are hundreds of thousands in the foundation building period. which has also increased several times. Yixingchen is one of the foundation building stages. In just 30 years, Yixingchen reached the foundation building stage from the first level of qi refining, which was an unprecedented speed of cultivation. Meng Wudong was ready to put the pressure of Tianqing sect on Yixingchen. He hoped that under the leadership of Yixingchen, Tianqing sect could become the second Fulong temple. The number of cultivators in the qi refining stage did not increase, but remained at about 1 million. 50 years later, Yixingchen broke through to the golden core stage again, the same realm as his grandfather Yichanghe. Yes, Yixingchen's grandfather Yichanghe also broke through to the golden core stage decades ago. The only difference is that Yichanghe is a 6th grade golden core, and Yixingchen is a 1st grade golden core. Since Hanli, Yixingchen is the only 1st grade golden core. Another 100 years later, Yixingchen successfully passed the tribulation and reached the nascent soul stage. After Hanli, Yixingchen is the only 2nd nascent soul boss. Seeing that Yixingchen broke through to the nascent soul stage so quickly, Meng Wudong wanted to abdicate directly. Yixingchen should be the leader of Tianqing sect. It's not that Meng Wudong is targeting anyone. Except for Hanli of Fulong Temple, all other cultivators in Tianyuan realm are just happy. However, Meng Wudong's idea was rejected by Yixingchen. He and Hanli still have many things to do and really have no time to manage the sect. Besides, Meng Wudong still has a long lifespan, and Meng Wudong has been the leader for so many years. His own strength is also among the best in Tianyuan realm. No one in the sect disobeys him. It's really not right to abdicate like this. It took Yixingchen and Hanli nearly 200 years to refine the spiritual roots and organize the realm of cultivation. It can be said that they have completed the writing. As for any special secrets, they can only be discovered by future generations. At present, they have a new project.